Hey everybody, this is K-Fits Outdoors, K-Fits G35 competitor also. This is going to go on both of my YouTube pages. So what I've got today is a Lightning Strike Products. What it is it's a safety plunger for a Glock. The one in particular that I'm going to be putting it on is my Glock 35 Gen 3 match pistol. Shoot this in IDPA. USPSA, 3-gun, anything like that I will end up running, it'll be this gun. I've got some modifications done to it already. It's definitely not stock. I put TruGlow TFOs on it, put the back plate on it that I thought was cool. I like the Punisher, the grips, the magwell, and I've done a full polish job, Ghost Evo Elite trigger setup on it, the trigger bar, which I definitely recommend. I've also got the beaver tail on it. What we're going to do is we're going to put this plunger in there. This is a titanium plunger. It's a lot more rounded than the stock plunger. What this is going to do is empty. Always check that before you do any work on any pistol. Before you do anything with it, always check, make sure chamber's empty. So, and keep your finger up there. Never put your finger on the trigger just in case it's loaded. Always treat them as if they are. So what I'm going to do is replace that, and what that does is the factory one is a little bit more squared off than this one. This one's pretty rounded, and this one's made out of titanium instead of the stock steel plunger that comes with your Glock. And yes, I know I'm doing this on an AR-15 mat, but you know, I personally didn't feel like buying multiple mats at the time. So, I don't know if you can see that come into focus or not. Anyways, this is a lot more rounded than the standard plunger that comes with the Glock. So that's supposed to help take out the lip or cliff that they talk about when you're pulling your Glock trigger back. You get to a point where you can feel a little bit of a lip. It's not as bad on the 35 because it's meant for match, but it's still there. So this is supposed to take care of that. And I'm going to show you how to install it. Now, a little disclaimer before I get too in depth, I do not recommend doing any kind of modification to a carry pistol. Reason being is because if you end up having to use that weapon, you are giving, let's say there's somebody who comes into a mall and starts shooting up people, and you draw your concealed carry and you stop the threat. Let's say he survives. You just gave his attorney potentially ammunition towards you in the court, just in case it got to that point. I personally leave my carry pistol 100% stock. I do not modify it. It is exactly how it came from Glock. I carry a Glock 27. You will never see me modify that pistol ever. This one I do pistol match with, so I'm modifying the crap out of it as much as I can. I personally like iron sights instead of those holographics, so I've got the TFOs. Everybody's got their own choice on that, though. Hopefully you know how to tear down your pistol for cleaning and maintenance, if you have one. This is just a little buffer. It's a little piece of plastic that I put in there. You can pick those up pretty cheap. Those are supposed to reduce recoil. I don't know if they really do. I didn't notice a huge felt difference in recoil. So, in order to get this stock plunger out, what you need to do is pop your striker back just a little bit there, and you can see, I don't know how well you can see it there on the camera, but right here there's a little lip that sticks up, a little black lip there. You're going to push that down, and when you do that, you need to be careful as you slide this back plate off, because there is springs inside here, and you do not want them to go flying. You do not want to lose those. I'm no Glock armorer. I'm actually a mechanic by trade. I know how to fix things. I know a lot about guns. I used to be a law enforcement officer, and I was taught how to completely tear down and work on my pistol. Glock, I don't believe, recommends you do these modifications on your own. They recommend you take them to a gunsmith. If you feel uncomfortable doing it yourself, I recommend to do that. But this is how you could potentially do that. I don't recommend it, but this is how you could potentially do that if you felt like doing so. So you just push down towards the front of the slide on that little plunger, slide your cover off, slowly release that, hold your thumb over there so that the springs don't come flying out. Set your back plate aside because you don't need that right now. It's right here. Pull out on that, and that pulls your striker out. And then this little guy right here, this little yellow one, or white, just pulling out a little bit with your thumb. It pulls out the plunger to hold in your, having a brain fart here, extractor. So you push down the plunger and you can pull your extractor out. Set that aside, and very slowly let this little guy out. And now you can pull your factory plunger. There's a spring with it. It's very small. You do not want to lose one of those. They're very hard to find in the carpet. This one you don't 100%. You don't need, because if you bought this one, it comes with a new one. So I'm just going to put all that in that bag. I keep all the parts that I take off of them. So if one day I decided to, I can return them to stock or whatever. If something breaks on one of my other ones, I can put them in that. So we're going to take our new plunger and spring. Put the spring in there right there. And then we're going to guide that up into the plunger well. Push that in. Put the extractor back in. Slowly release the plunger. Plunger set. Going to reinstall the extractor rod and spring. And we will reinstall the striker. Now that's all in. Now push down on this just a little bit. Let's see, that's not going to cooperate. So come back here and push this down a little bit, and then you can re-grab that. And you can put your back plate in just far enough that it holds. You don't have to do that. You don't have to hold that down the whole time, just as long as it's far enough in that it gets to that point, and then you push down on your extractor plunger to the point where you can get the back plate across it and snap it in. That's all there is to it. It's installed. Keep bumping the camera. Just reassemble your pistol like so. And it is a smooth pull the entire way back. That hang up is gone. So this is an idea of something you can do if you shoot IDPA, USPSA, anything like that, and you run a Glock. I don't know if other manufacturers have this particular item. I don't know exactly how all the striker-fired pistols work, if they are all exactly the same as a Glock. I know that they're all pretty well based on the Glock platform. But this is something that I did to mine. I noticed that the trigger's a lot smoother. It doesn't have that hang up at the back end anymore. I've also polished all the internals on this so that it has a nice smooth trigger pull all the way back. Something that I do. I enjoy it, and I definitely like that trigger pull. That's just awesome. I wouldn't say it's comparable to a super high-end 1911 or anything like that, but something you can do to make your Glock trigger a little bit better. Thanks for watching. If you like this, go ahead and put a like down below. Leave a comment if you see something you don't like. If you think that I'm being unsafe with these or anything like that, let me know. But I try to practice firearm safety as best as I can, and I try to preach it as well. But, you know, not everybody's perfect, but I try to be very safe with my firearms and everything else. Be safe out there on the range, and have a good day.